What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got a little bit of a different video to be going over with you guys, a little bit of a more weird one, because right now a weird situation has kind of risen up now, with it currently being reported that the New York Knicks, Lakers, Timberwolves, Blazers, Kings, Pacers, and the Cavs are the teams that are currently interested in Ben Simmons, according to Shams. And as well as according to Shams, the team that looks to be the most interested is actually the New York Knicks. Just kind of came out of nowhere. Like, it really was not reported that the New York Knicks were interested in Ben Simmons at all. I mean, I think maybe once or twice. I think I made one video on the possibility that they could be interested in him, but I didn't actually think they would pursue him. But where they currently sit right now, does Ben Simmons necessarily help their team? I wouldn't say the Knicks have been bad this season. I don't think anyone could really say that, because just because they're 12 and 15 doesn't really mean anything. Like, that's only a couple of wins of being, having an even record. Look, they've got a losing record, but if they were in the West, they would be contending for a playoff spot right now. But because they're in the East, which is very, very powerful at the moment, they're kind of, hanging below and sitting, 12th of 15 teams. So there's a couple things they can improve on. Of course, your interior defense has been, I'm pretty sure it's been one of the league's worst. Like, Randall seems like he's dropped off as a defender a little bit this year, even though I'm pretty sure he's been pretty good. His defense hasn't been great. We know that Kemba Walker's defense has been terrible this season, and Mitchell Robinson just really hasn't improved that much. And I think some Knicks fans are just getting tired of him. One of my best mates is a Knicks fan, and he loves the New York Knicks to death. And he's been saying for a while that Mitchell Robinson he's a really good young guy and could be a really good role player for a team, but he probably shouldn't be, a starting center on a contending team. And that's what New York Knicks want to be. They want to be a contending team. So to have Mitchell Robinson as your starting centers, probably not going to work. Then we've seen Nerlens Noel has been starting a little bit more recently as well, to try and get that interior defense up and just trying to help out. So it's really like, well, that's one of the big things it seems like the Knicks need right now, is that interior defense. And originally I would have said, well, they probably need shooting, but considering now they have Evan Fournier, who's an elite three-point shooter, who, yes, this season he has been a little down, I believe. 37.5% is still insane. Like, to say that's a little down for him is crazy. But then you still got Alec Burks on 41%. Two elite catch and shooters in the league. So I wouldn't think they would need exactly too many shooters. So if I was them, would you go out and get Ben Simmons? I definitely feel like you can, because I feel like they've got the assets around them, to be able to do so, because they desperately need a starting point guard or just a ball handler, especially a playmaker. That's why I think Ben Simmons, originally I didn't think he'd be that good for the team, but now I believe he'd be perfect, because one of the big things I thought they needed in free agency was defense and playmaking. And when they didn't go and, do that, but they brought in Kemba, I was kind of like, well, if Kemba can get his playmaking back up while still being a good shot creator, they might not need a dude like Lonzo or Ben Simmons. But Kemba just didn't. His playmaking didn't go up at all. He hasn't even been good for them. He's fallen out of the rotation. And now I think, he's kind of just sitting there. While the New York Knicks, I still think they're really looking for a starting point guard. They're looking for some playmaking, and they're looking for some interior defense. And realistically, Ben Simmons can do all three. So I actually think, yes, the New York Knicks should 100% go out and get Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons can come into the team. Again, their highest assist leader is Julius Randle on 5.3 assists per game. Now, 5.3 assists per game is usually pretty good. But if we're going to be looking at a contending team, you probably want to do that's at least averaging like 7 assists more. And I think that's what Ben Simmons can bring to the table. I think with this Knicks team, he probably could average around, like 7 or 8 assists per game for them. So I think what the dynamic would kind of look like, if I was the Knicks, I would go for him, because, not only do you need that playmaking, but you also desperately really need that defense to the team. And I think because their defense is, so bad interior-wise right now, you could go out and get a center, but I'm not too sure how many elite interior defensive centers there are in the league available at the moment. Of course, Cat was available for a little bit of time, but I think the Timberwolves have put him off now. And again, he's not really an interior defensive dude. But when we look at Ben Simmons, some Knicks fans might also argue that, hell no, we don't want Ben Simmons. trust me, I know he's gotten a lot of hate, and I have been a little bit on that hate train, but with Ben Simmons, he kind of fills everything that you need right now. Clearly, the shooting's not the issue. It's, I think, the interior defense and the playmaking. And if you go out and get Ben Simmons, he fills in both of them. And some people might say, well, he's not going to be good in New York. He's not going to be good with the bright lights and the attention, all that type of stuff. Look, that could definitely be true. He might flourish better in somewhere like Sacramento or something like that, where he's not constantly under pressure. But at the New York Knicks, I don't think that's going to apply to him, because the offense will be, fully run through him, instead of it being, some isolation plays with Joel Embiid and Tobias Harris that he had to see at Philadelphia. Instead, it will be mainly run through him, with a little bit of Julius Randle, of course, on the side here and there. But again, Ben Simmons would 100% be like, well, let's get Randle the ball now. He's that type of guy to be able to actually do that and say, he used to do it for Embiid all the time. Let's get Embiid the ball. Let's get Tobias Harris the ball. Let's get JJ Redick the ball, like when they used to set up all those plays. He knows how to do it. I definitely think he can help out Randle. And Randle is really trying to be the main interior defensive dude, because Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel just haven't been it this season. So I think if you bring in Ben Simmons, it also takes a lot of pressure off Noel defensively, but takes a lot of pressure off Mitchell Robinson as well, and Julius Randle. So, yeah, I definitely think he can help out a lot there when it does come to that. And realistically, I actually think you could get, Ben Simmons relatively cheap. For example, you would have to, of course, match up contracts. Kemba Walker is on, I believe, around $10 million. You'd have to trade him up. Nerlens Noel is on about $10 million. You'd have to trade him up. And then Obi Toppin's on around $10 million. But I know Knicks fans really want to keep Obi Toppin, so that's probably just not going to happen. So I don't know who the other player is going to be, but they'll have to throw in some other guy. I don't know who, but yeah, to match up contracts you will. So it's going to be, Kemba Walker, Nerlens Noel, and another guy, whoever you Knicks fans decide to choose, and at least probably 2 to 3 first-round picks, because Philadelphia do want a lot of first-round picks out of Ben Simmons. And I think this really works because, I don't know what Philadelphia do with Noel. They'd probably flip him. But getting in a dude like Kemba can actually really help out this, Philadelphia team. Bring another shot creator in who could actually be alright for them. And they get like 3 first-round picks, which they can use to maybe go out and get a star. Anyway, do something like that. And then this Knicks team would be a lot better. First of all, you would have Ben Simmons at point guard. Then you would have Evan Fournier shooting guard. RJ Barrett small forward. Randle at power forward. And then you would still have, of course, Mitchell Robinson at center. The team defensively would be so much better because, look, I don't know. I think, of course, Simmons would probably guard like small forward or something like that. But he definitely would cover in and help out a lot, with the center position. Probably guard center some nights, do this and that. And he's definitely shown he can do that. And then off the bench, you'd have Derrick Rose, Alec Burks, Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes. You might need to look for another backup center, but you still got Taj Gibson. And we know that Ben Simmons could probably run some of that backup center. Same with Julius Randle, this and that. I think the team would actually be a lot better. And I do think the New York Knicks should pursue Ben Simmons. But look, some of you Knicks fans might disagree with me. And hey, you have all right to. Please don't go and dislike the video just because you don't like Ben Simmons. Actually give me a reason in the comments maybe why you don't want Ben Simmons to the New York Knicks. And why you don't think the trade will work out, this and that. Of course, I would definitely really like to know all of your thoughts and opinions on this down below. But as I was saying, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.